Hello everyone. If you followed my previous video, you may be aware that I already created a PHP package or Laravel package for managing the Web3 Storage API operations. So let's look into what we have done so far. These are the implementation of the package. It's pretty straightforward. An API client class that gives you a list of functions as getList, upload, and getStatus, so that you can fetch the stored file list, upload a file, or even query status of a CID. Okay, if you look into the implementation, you can see it's pretty basic. It's a very basic implementation, not too much error handling. So a lot of edge cases are not covered. So today I'm going to improve the functionalities of the API client. At least I hope to handle the negative HTTP response status from the Web3 Storage API. If we look into the Web3.storage documents and look into the HTTP API part, you can see there's some rate limit on the API. As it said, you may receive a 429, so too many request error if you make more than 30 requests with the same API token within a 10-second window. So this is what we are going to handle. So first of all, we may want to determine the response status. If it's 429, so we may want to wait for a short period of time and try the request again. Okay, now let's see in PHP how can we sleep for a second or two. So this is what you can use. So the native function sleep. This is what you can use to allow the application sleep for a couple seconds to delay the execution. Okay. Now let's start the implementation. So first of all, this is a client, and I may want to rename it to so first of all, let me copy and paste so that we can have an interface to describe the function to be supported, to be implemented. So this is an interface, and we are going to implement these functions. Okay. Now we interface. Now we can go to API client class and implement API client interface. Okay, why I'm doing this? That's because I want to wrap the API client, and in the wrapper class it calls the API client functions and get the response, so that based on the response or the exceptions thrown, it can determine if any retry is required. Okay, now let me copy and paste the client again. So this guy I'm going to name as client proxy. So this is the client proxy. Okay, let me skip the API client for now. And the other thing I like to add is I want to add a new folder called exceptions, and in this file we say I need an exception class. Is the namespace app web storage exceptions. Okay, then we need a class called API exception extend exception. Okay, a function constructor. Okay, then what it does, just call it does nothing but just making the function call to the parent constructor. Next step is actually here API exception. So I'd like to save the status code here, and it will accept status code as parameter, constructor parameter. Then in the constructor, the status code will be saved. Now we can also define get status code. It will return us the status code. Okay, now let's go to API proxy. So this is kind of the internal class that can be used by API client. So the API client won't have the logic here. It will host an instance of API client proxy and make the API call from there. So in here, now a get list and the response. Here we can get the response status. So this is how we get the status of the HTTP response. So if you need to see the documentation about the response, so you can come here and see here. This is the status, how you can get the status out of a response. Okay, so this is how you can get the status. Now let's say if it's not equal to 200, we'll throw new API exception with the status code. We need the same in other functions, say here, and here the get status. So in every response we need to do the same thing. Next thing is the API client. It will also implement interface public. Instead, it will have a proxy. And now in the constructor function, it will initialize the proxy to the API proxy. Okay, and now when we get the list, in instead of the API call or everything here, we will make the function call proxy get the list API key. Now we are getting the list from the proxy. Surely we need to try and catch exception. Good question. So I haven't used a try catch for a long time. Let's see how to catch something. Okay, we need the type hint here. Now we will need to check if exception instance of API exception and the exception get status code equal 429. We sleep for, let's say, 10 seconds and try it again. Then we store files, we do the same thing again. Okay, so this is how we can retry. It's pretty similar here. Now the CID, and we return the CID, so CID out of the upload. So we can say the CID is from the here proxy upload, pretty the same thing. API key, file content, file name, we got a CID, and we need to capture the exception. So it's something similar here. We need to copy and paste. So upload CID equal upload if it's same CID here. Now it can be returned. The last thing is get status. So here similar return array equal to something empty here, or we say null, and we copy paste this part here. We call get status API key and CID. Okay, now we get the return array. Same thing need to be done here once the 429 is responded from the API. So this is how we can, okay, now you can see we already complete a code refactor on API client class. So the real communication with the Web3 storage API has been wrapped in proxy class, and the API client class will handle the exception. Okay, I think that's it for today. I'm going to publish the code change and release a version to packages so you should be able to see the latest version shortly. And I'm not adding any test cases to cover or any of the changes or even the implementation of the package. I will do so in the short future, so get it covered and use a mock to handle the API part. Yeah, that's it for today. So looking forward to the new release in this package, Laravel Web3 Storage. Thanks for your watching. See you next time. If you feel it's useful, remember to thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks. Bye bye.